neighborhood and feel good about it. This was not the world that I'd want my children to grow up in. So I decided to get engaged, and the first thing that I did was to come back to Ghana and talk with a lot of people and really try to understand what the real issues were. And three things kept coming up for every problem: corruption, weak institutions, and the people who run them, the leaders. Now, I was a little scared because when you see those three problems, they seem really hard to deal with. And they might say, look, don't even try. But for me, I asked the question, well, where are these leaders coming from? What is it about Ghana that produces leaders that are unethical or unable to solve problems? So I went to look at what was happening in our educational system, and it's the same, learning by rote from primary school through graduate school. Very little emphasis on ethics, and the average, the typical graduate from a university in Ghana has a stronger sense of entitlement than a sense of responsibility. This is wrong. So I decided to engage this particular problem because it seems to me that every society must be very intentional about how it trains its leaders. And Ghana was not paying enough attention, and this is true across sub-Saharan Africa, actually. So this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to bring the experience that I had at Swarthmore to Africa. I wish there was a liberal arts college in every African country. I think it would make a huge difference. And what Ashesi University is trying to do is to train a new generation of ethical entrepreneurial leaders. We're trying to train leaders of exceptional integrity who have the ability to confront the complex problems, to ask the right questions, and come up with workable solutions. I'll admit that there are times when it seems like mission impossible. But we must believe that these kids are smart, that if we involve them in their education, if we have them discuss the real issues that they confront, that our whole society confronts, and if we give them skills that enable them to engage the real world, that magic will happen. Now, a month into this project, we just started classes, and a month into it, I come to the office and I have this email from one of our students, and it said very simply, "I am thinking now." And he signs off, "Thank you." It's such a simple statement, but I was moved almost to tears because I understood what was happening to this young man. And it is an awesome thing to be a part of empowering someone in this way. I am thinking now. This year, we challenged our students to craft an honor code for themselves. There's a very vibrant debate going on campus now about whether they should have an honor code, and if so, what it should look like. One of the students asked a question that just warmed my heart. Can we create a perfect society? Her understanding that a student-crafted honor code constitutes a reach towards perfection is incredible. Now, we cannot achieve perfection, but if we reach for it, then we can achieve excellence. I don't know ultimately what they will do. I don't know whether they will decide to have this honor code. But the conversation that they're having now about what their good society should look like, what their excellent society should look like, is a really good thing. Am I out of time? Okay. Now, I just want to leave that slide up because it's important that we think about it. I'm very excited about the fact that every student at Ashesi University does community service before they graduate, that for many of them, it has been a life-altering experience. These young future leaders are beginning to understand the real business of leadership, the real privilege of leadership, which is, after all, to serve humanity. I am even more thrilled by the fact that last year, our student body elected a woman to be the head of student government. It's the first time in the history of Ghana that a woman has been elected head of student government at any university. It says a lot about her. It says a lot about the culture that's forming on campus. It says a lot about her peers who elected her. She won with 75% of the vote. And it gives me a lot of hope. It turns out that corporate West Africa also appreciates what's happening with our students. We've graduated 2 classes of students to date, and every single one of them has been placed. And we're getting great reports back from corporate Ghana, from corporate West Africa. And the things that they're most impressed about is work ethic. You know, that passion for what they're doing, the persistence, their ability to deal with ambiguity, their ability to tackle problems that they haven't seen before. This is good because, you know, over the past 5 years, there have been times when I felt this is mission impossible. And it's just wonderful to see these glimmers of the promise of what can happen if we train our kids right. I think that the current and future leaders of Africa have an incredible opportunity to drive a major renaissance on the continent. It's an incredible opportunity. There aren't very many more opportunities like this in the world. I believe that Africa has reached an inflection point with the march of democracy and free markets across the continent. We have reached a moment from which can emerge a great society within one generation. It will depend on inspired leadership. And it is my contention that the manner in which we train our leaders will make all the difference. Thank you. God bless.